Rising, Grand Rising. Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope you guys' morning is starting off great so far. We are back at it again with another crazy case, another case full of red flags. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This wild lock. I have a wild lock, guys, that does what it want to do. Today we're going to be getting into the case of Jayden Spicer. Okay. This case had happened in late August, and it's something like the case of Emmanuel Haro. And what's crazy is this case and then Emmanuel Haro's case was going on almost at the same exact time, and the outcome is almost the exact same. Okay. Um, a mother who thought that her lies would not catch up with her, a father who played along with it and also played a role in it as well. And they're now indicted. And so now we're going to get into the details of everything. I will keep you guys updated. This is another case that we're going to be keeping updated along with Emmanuel Haro case and all the cases that we've possibly been covering within the last about 2 weeks. I've given you guys last week the updates for other cases that we've done previously. So all these cases from this week and the end of last week are cases that we're for sure keeping up with, okay? All right, also keep in mind and remember that we do have the Royal Lockbox that has it did air already last week, but if you want your letter to be on the newer show, which is this month at the end of the month, you can definitely submit your letters to savageroyaltyent@gmail.com so that you will be able to enter and, get your letters read. But also keep in mind that if you want to remain anonymous, so please make sure that you put Lock Me in the Box Royalty so that no one will know who you are. Hey, Evangelist. Hey, Miss Dolores. Hey, The Real Books. Hello, hello, hello. Alrighty, guys. Now, this is Jayden Spicer, okay? Now, Jayden he was 10 years old. He was from Jackson, Kentucky, and he was last seen on August the 5th of this year, okay? Now, the suspicions around his case had began very early on, the initial reports, should I say, where people were already looking at him, looking at this entire case kind of crazy because nothing truly made sense. So he was reported missing on August the 6th, and it did spark a massive search for him. Now, his mother, Felicia Gross, is her name, and she was formerly a Spicer, age 33, and she did confess to giving him some sleeping medication and hiding his body. Okay. Now, between August the 5th at 9 p.m., okay, she says that that's the last time that she's seen him at his home on Panbowl Ranch Road is where they actually lived, and she says that's the last time that she's seen him at night. Now let's make this make sense. This is a 10-year-old, okay? At 9 o'clock at night, and this is one of the first red flags that begin to wave in this case. There is no way that a 10-year-old goes missing at 9 o'clock at night, okay? That alone doesn't make any sense. First red flag. Then on August the 6th at 9:23, a whole 12 hours later, she decides, okay, well, let me contact the authorities to let them know that I have not found my 10-year-old son that has been missing since 9 p.m. at night. Okay? She's lying. An entire 12 hours later, okay? Now, there was some teams, drones, ATVs, helicopters, dogs, thermal imaging that was used in an attempt to help find him, okay? They did search about 20 square miles for him to possibly see if they can find him anywhere. Now, the roads, they were closed off and allowing for people to search. Now, when it comes to his mother, okay? This is his mother. She did write a handwritten plea. And I've covered so many cases. And this for me was another red flag. Okay? I've never in the history of me covering cases have ever seen a mother whose 10-year-old son had went missing at 9 o'clock at night. She didn't report him until 12 hours later. And then she makes a statement through a handwritten note where she wanted us to know that she truly wants her son home. We love Jayden and we want him safe at home. Please, if anyone see my son, Jayden Spicer, please report it to the Jackson Police Department. Thank you. We love him very much. Please do the right thing. Call the police. Please pray for us. and my son Jayden. Thank you. You writing like a toddler in kindergarten even added another red flag to me because this doesn't even look like an adult wrote this. Okay? And I would prefer to see you standing front and center at a press conference, standing front and center at a search location. I would prefer to see you standing in those places making a plea versus using your fingertips to write some sloppy note to let us know on how much you miss your son and how much he needs to be home. The fact that you thought that this was going to pass is insane to me. Okay? You really thought that this is going to allow us to see that you had some form of empathy for him or the situation itself. I don't think that this plea was genuine at no point whatsoever. I actually think that this was a impulse move. And a lot of times in investigations, the main suspects make a very impulsive move that does not make sense. And I think that's what this was. That handwriting though go crazy. Okay? Very childlike. Okay? Lets us know into your mental a little bit as well. The fact that you wasn't able to even, it looks like that Jayden possibly could have wrote this honestly, and that sounds crazy and it kind of sounds strange, but if we would have first saw it, we would have thought that Jayden, let's put this into perspective. When we're searching for children, we're looking at all things. Okay? And I guarantee you that there was some people that say, wait, it looks like that Jayden could have possibly wrote this himself. This could have been another way to kind of throw people off as well. The handwriting itself could have been used as a way to throw people off on maybe or her trying to attempt to make it look like that Jayden wrote this as if it was her, but he wrote it himself. That's how I view it. That's how I view it, because what would be the only reason that a parent would feel the need to write a note to the public when you can use your own voice, your own presence, when it comes to screaming to the mountaintops for your children and your child who is missing? That's how I looked at it. Okay. Now, on August the 12th, an entire 7 days, by the way, that she continued to prance through as if she didn't know what happened to her son, as if her 10-year-old son just picked up and walked away somewhere on his own. Okay. She continues this for 7 days. And then on August the 12th, okay, as new information began to come in, because they're saying that she had begun to confess to people that she accidentally killed him. Okay, which had then took them to the investigators, took them to Canoe Road, where Jayden's body was then discovered there. Okay, and it was confirmed in a press conference, and they said and called it a ongoing investigation, which it is still ongoing as of right now. Now, there was a police officer there who did confirm the discovery in the press conference, and the mood in the community was a little bit shifted because many people, of course, are hoping that Jayden will be found alive and well, but it did not go over that way. Okay, and whoever was the bird whisperer that came through to let them know, and it looks like that it could have possibly came from through her confession or whispers in the community about her location, which about the location of Jayden, which allowed the investigators to discover him. Okay, now Felicia had allegedly confessed that she had gave him some sleeping pills. She claimed that he had suffered a medical emergency, and she buried him in a tote on Canoe Road. And then she took an additional step where she had coached her children. And something tells me that that 12 hours of reporting before she reported was her basically coaching her children to on what to say to the authorities, because she admitted to doing that as well. Okay? Because she knew that the investigators, the moment that they called, were going to be asking everybody questions. So she told the children on what to say. Okay? Now, when they begin to look deeper into her and her background and things of that nature, oh, I forgot to take this down. Lord have mercy. There we go. There we go. I didn't forgot to take it down. So what they had forgot to do, what she did was, uh she exposed her hand for the most part. She exposed her hand to the point where she forgot all about the fact that she had a history. Okay, this history was sketchy when it came to Jayden. First of all, she wasn't raising Jayden. Let's make that clear, okay? Jayden was living with his grandmother his entire life, okay? That is the person that was his protector because his mother was already dealing with CPS issues and she also already had her own vices as well. So he had to go live with his grandmother, which is where he had been. Now, his grandmother, she had passed away. And when his grandmother had passed away, it then opened up for the mother to be able to regain custody of Jayden. Sounds a little bit like the case that we had went over yesterday. Okay? Where there is an investigation in some way whatsoever, a parent that was already discovered to be faulty has been able to get the capability to get their children back. She was already faulty. Okay? CPS had investigations on multiple times, okay, from Jayden when it comes to abuse, when it comes to her parenting skills. All right? Now, do I believe that her confession was 100% true? No, I don't. Okay? I believe that there's more to this story, like prior things that was going on in reference to Jayden that landed us to here where we are now. It was basically like a historical thing of either emotional abuse, physical abuse, any of those things is what I think led up to this. I don't believe the whole gave him sleeping medicine and it was an accidental death type of thing because it takes a lot of sleeping medicine to kill somebody. A lot of sleeping medication to kill somebody. You just can't just give a child that and they automatically will pass. It doesn't work like that. Okay? She had to be giving him high dosages for that to happen. But something tells me that there's way more to this than just a sleeping medication. There's things that happen prior to, i.e., him already dealing with things when it comes pertaining to the mother and the stepfather. Okay? Now, they did at first, they had charged her with manslaughter, okay, initially. But then when they began to dig more into the case, they then gave her abuse of a corpse. They gave her abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, false reporting, and witness tampering. And then they upgraded the manslaughter to first degree, rightfully so. Okay? Now, when it comes to Joshua, he was indicted. And here's my thing with this. For some reason, Joshua did not receive the same exact charges as her. And I'm trying to figure out why. So he was indicted for being complicit to murder, okay, as well as to false reporting, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a corpse. Me, myself, I think that he played a role in the death itself. And I think that he's supposed to have first degree murder just like her. I don't think that he should get off with just this whole complicit to murder type of thing. It should be way more than that. Okay? Now, as of right now, they do say that there was some alleged allegations of drug exposure, possibly multiple abuse and neglect situations that happened prior to her even regaining custody. And then there was a ongoing investigation that was going on as well with Jayden and the family. Now, despite this historical case, history, when it comes to all the allegations from the mother, Jayden was then placed back with his mother when the grandmother had passed away. Okay? As of right now, many people are really trying to truly wait and see the true cause and things of that nature and how we got here. Of course, this case had already it had happened late August, last days of August, okay? So they're still coming out with details, and something tells me when it gets down in the nook of things that they're going to discover that Jayden had his final days were not easy with these two here. It was not easy at all. And you can tell by the way that they look that they're not, okay? They're not. And from all of their pictures that I've seen across social media, these are not people that I would say needs to be with anybody's children. Okay? It just doesn't. There also was some allegations that came forward that someone had went to the yard of where he lived at, and it looks like that they had all of Jayden's things in the backyard as if they were preparing to burn them. Okay? And that is something like we've seen in Emmanuel Horrow case, where they say that they went into Emmanuel Horrow's house where he lived with his parents, and they discovered that all his pictures, clothes, and everything were already gone. And for the life of me, I would never be able to understand how a parent, okay, one, you kill your child. Two, you assist on searching for a child in which you know is deceased. Okay? And then three, how does your heart work when you are able to take all of the belongings of that child and toss them to the trash as if that child was nothing to you? I would never understand that. There are parents in this world who has lost children in various different ways, not so much abuse or anything. Okay? And they still have a hard time trying to throw away those items. There are parents that children have been gone for decades, and they still cannot find it in them to throw away their belongings. So for the life of me, I would never understand how his belongings are being seen outside. So that lets me know that your attachment to Jayden was no attachment at all, which means that's the reason why he was with his grandmother. Because you were never a mother. Okay? That title can be given to anybody. You were his birth mother. You birthed him, but the person who his actual mother was the person that actually loved him, the person that actually cared for him has passed away. But you, ma'am, were never an actual mother. Let's get that clear. And by you throwing out his belongings lets me know that you never was that. Never was that. And unfortunately, this child has been forced. Okay? He was forced to live with you, be with you, knowing that the person that was there to protect him was no longer there. He possibly lived his last days knowing that the person that he has been left with does not have a piece of love in her heart for him at all. I can't get rid of the phone. I can't even listen here. I still have, okay, images and things. I still have the clothes of my father. Okay? And my grandmother, my great grandmother, I still have those things. And I didn't birth them, but they are people that I love. So how do you birth somebody, a human, and totally dispose of them as if they've never existed like that? And then you spend 7 days creating a narrative that did not even exist in your brain. You actually wrote a halfway letter trying to convince us that you cared. And I have yet to see you drop one tear that even made sense to me. I haven't seen it. Not one bit. Some of these parents keep their children's bedroom preserved as if they do, like they're nice and clean. Some parents, when they lose children, their bedroom is just how they left it. And that's how hard it is for a parent to accept that their baby is no longer here. So for you to totally disconnect and dispose of him that way, and take his very small body, fold him up into a tote as if he was trash, is disgusting. And I hope that they burn you until they cannot burn you anymore. I hope they do. I hope that they make an example out of you for any other parent that finds it in their spirit to let the demons take over and allow them to do something to their children. You spent 7 days searching on a fake search and 12 hours making up a story. 7 days. Sick. And there's people in the community that has possibly cried more than what we've seen you do publicly. And they've never seen him a day in his life. They've never even hugged him, talked to him, spoke to him. But you, as his mother, sad. Sad. And it's my thing is, why did he have to? Here's the one thing in this case that is really getting me is what is it in the system that when a child has already been removed from this person and this person is still partaking in the same actions in which they did when the child was taken? What is it in the system that is allowing you guys to dismiss the previous warnings and hand these people back their kids? Because when his grandmother passed away, if he was with his grandmother most of his life and he is 10 years old, he had been away from these parents for too long to even go back there. And typically, in cases like this, going back there would have never been an option. But something tells me, because this is a very small town, and from my understanding, possibly even a Appalachian type culture, something tells me that because this is small town is why that was able to occur. Because 9 times out of 10, just like yesterday's case, state workers are not on hand the way that they need to be because it's so small town. And so because it's so small town, the opportunity to give him to someone else is slim, and the resources there to, help him is possibly slim as well. I have to take that into account on why that could have happened in this case. Now, when it comes to major cities and things, I don't give that excuse. But I always like to look at the culture of a or the environment of where a child came from in order to understand why a decision was made. And it could have been because this is a very small town, y'all. And when I say small, I mean everybody knows everybody type of thing. Nothing moves, and the whispers eventually becomes loud type of environment where people knew what was going on, but it was kind of swept. Or people knew that she was abusive, but it was swept. Or people knew that she was on drugs, but it was swept. And it's because it's so small town. And in small towns, it's easier to hide crime. And it's because everybody knows everybody and they have some form of emotional attachment to a situation. So it allows them to disregard red flags because of their connections or sympathy, empathy to a person. It happens a lot. It's more so of an environmental thing too that played in this. What's Kentucky? Kentucky. And it's very small town though. And I'm thinking what I keep seeing is Appalachian, and you guys know we've covered Appalachian cases before. Appalachians is a little different. That's a whole nother different thing. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example of an Appalachian case we've covered. If you guys remember the case where the sheriff's deputy, we need to do an update on that next week too. The sheriff's deputy went into the courthouse and killed the judge. There's an update in that too. That's Appalachian. And they had learned that over the years the judge was using um defendants, female defendants, for sexual purposes in order to give them leniency in the courtroom, and he was being inappropriate and doing inappropriate things in the judge's chambers. That's Appalachian. That's what I mean by small town secrets and small town whispers. That's what this case's environment looked like. Just like that. Yeah. We need an update. I got it. It just made me think about it because an update has come out. And if you guys remember what that case, what I said about it, if you haven't, scroll down and go look at the Kentucky. Thank you to Real Books. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nicole Johnson carried niece/nephews in totes. Yep, that was another case. Yeah, it's happening a lot. It's happening a whole lot, y'all. Why they won't let me pin when you do the super sticker? Thank you for the super sticker. They won't let me pin that. That's kind of crazy. Hmm. Hmm. I don't like that. Thank you. I'll heart it. See what that does. Alrighty. So we will do an update on that next week. Y'all know we do not have a show tomorrow, okay? So you have time if you missed any other shows, make sure that you do go watch them. And we will do the Kentucky update next week, okay? If any updates do come from this, I will do another part 2 on this story as well. All right. It's pinned. I think it's because I liked it. But I didn't, because right now Electric Jiggies is pinned on my end. See, I'm gonna take Electric Jiggies down. On my end, it's not, but on your, as long as it's pinned on your guy, you guys end, that's okay. Alrighty, guys, get your letters in for the Royal Lockbox, okay? Get your letters in, get your letters in, get your letters in. As for my people on Bigo, y'all, Bigo is pissed off with me right now. They are really not liking me right now, okay? Because you guys know I have abandoned them and they feel like that I lied, okay? They feel like they feel like I bamboozled them, went on vacation and never returned, okay? And so they have been attempting to get me to do one show a month. Bigo, I am still thinking, okay? If I will give you guys one show a month, um it won't be September, okay? That's for sure. All right? Because I'm right now getting my feet wet in all other platforms. But maybe in October. Okay, I've thought about it. Maybe in October, I will give you guys one show a month, but coming back every day, not going to happen. Okay, whatever, Bigo. Yeah, because YouTube took Bigo's side of things. Like y'all kind of came in. But yeah, so but there a lot of them are very understanding that I'm using this time to grow myself, and I am growing, especially on the TikTok side of things. Okay. Also, I will be posting today, I'm going to be posting the documents for the case that we covered yesterday and what the CPS investigation had uncovered. And I'm going to be posting a video update to that as well, okay? So make sure that you are staying tuned. Bigo wants me back bad, y'all. They want me back bad. And I just can't right now, okay? Once we get to 10K, so let's do this, okay? Once we get to 10K on TikTok, all right? Once we get to 10K, I would then go live on Bigo. How about that? That makes it make sense. I have almost 200,000 followers on TikTok. I mean on Bigo. There's no reason that we shouldn't be at 10K. All right. So what we're gonna do is, if you want your show on Bigo, okay, we need to get some followers on TikTok. Fair exchange, no robbery. Okay. That's not robbery. That's making sense. Got to make it all make sense. Okay. So give me 1 second. One moment, please. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I miss hearing the bells ring. Oh, the gifts. Alrighty, guys. Follow me there. Once we get to 10K followers on TikTok, I will give you a 1 month show on Bigo. And I'm going to press live and do an introduction live on TikTok. So those on TikTok will be able to meet me. They don't even know me yet. They just see me doing news. They don't realize that I'm a little crazy for real. So they haven't really got a chance to meet the savage side of things because they only see me doing news. Oh boy, they better prepare themselves. I'm not your typical news reporter. You guys have a great day, and thank you for watching, and thank you for tuning in to True Crime with Savage Royalty.